While the official cost of Donald Trump's unprecedented second state visit won't be released for some time, we do know what the bill was for his 2019 visit, and that was around about £4 million. The Metropolitan Police spent £3.4 million, including £800,000 on overtime alone. Other costs included almost £100,000 on entertainment, £30,000 on accommodation. With those figures in mind, this year's state visit's been even bigger, so it's likely it's going to be more expensive. But as King Charles and Donald spoke fondly of the special relationship between the two countries, and Donald Trump said it was the highest honour of his life, and with reports of £150 billion worth of investment from US companies, do you think this is all money extremely well spent? Or do you feel like lobbying your MP for a refund? What do you feel about it? Why don't we start with you? What do you think?
I think it is money well spent for two reasons, really. You know, like or loathe Donald Trump, he is head of one of the most powerful countries in the world. I would much rather to have that country as our ally. So that's one thing, but also the investment, you know, that is an awful lot of investment into the UK, which is going to increase jobs, it's going to increase the economy. That's surely got to be worth the spend against this pomp and frill. I think it's a good thing. I'm definitely
good money after good, not good money after bad.
I'm in favour of Trump, by the way, but I am in favour of us becoming friendly with the US and just really making sure that foothold in that UK-US relationship is as strong as it needs to be, particularly because of all the frustration around the world. And, you know, there's so much unsettlement. I would rather them to be our friends.
Right. Sam, what do you think? I mean, it looked, I must say, as if it was going swimmingly yesterday, didn't it? Those speeches and lots of little pats being given from president to the king and the king to the president, and all the girls seemed to be getting on very well and the food looked delicious. You know, I really fancy one of those watercress panna cottas. I've never even heard of it.
Nice. And you know what else as well? He got to land his helicopter in the garden at Windsor, which no one's been able to do before.
Unprecedented, as he kept saying.
They've been giving him loads of extra stuff, and he loves it. You know, he loves it. I bet there's some presidents or other foreign statesmen who come and they think, oh, it's all a bit of a fuss. I'm not really interested in all of this. I want to be back to it. Trump loves this stuff. What's very helpful, if you find Trump sort of generally objectionable, which I do, and I'm supposed to lots of it, is to just think of him not as Donald Trump, but as the president of the United States of America. OK, and one who is particularly easy to seduce with pomp and ceremony, and the fact that we as a country do pomp and ceremony probably better than any other country.
I don't think we need a probably, actually. We do it better than any other country in the world. And we saw that yesterday. It was phenomenal.
He loves it, and we can manipulate him with it. And so I generally think that the royal family are completely overpriced and a mad, opulent indulgence for us as the taxpayer, especially when there's so many people skint. However, on an occasion like this, £4 million, we're getting 150 billion invested by America as a result of this visit. So it's rare that I would say they're providing value for money, but on this occasion they are.
And what do you think today, Claire, Queen Camilla, Princess Kate, they have to take Melania on a tour of the doll's house? I mean, God, can you imagine what the conversation is going to be like? This is a very, very small bath, Melania, and this is a very small chair. This is a tiny little kettle, and this is a very, very small dessert plate, Melania. What are they going to say, poor things? They're really going to be working today.
But they're really tiny anyway, these women. They're really tiny. So it's a bit, you know, very well done. I do think the optic, especially now in this country, for the pomp and ceremony, and you're right, Vanessa, no one does it as well as we do. Trump and Melania aren't going to see the King and Queen of Spain, are they? It wouldn't make the headlines. And whilst you say you might find Trump objectionable, Sam, etc., but I don't think you can dissociate the two of him being the president and being able to manipulate. He is. I don't think you can separate the two. He is who he is. And I would far rather have someone like that shooting from the hip, you know, making gaffes, making jokes, making whatever. But, you know, ultimately everyone knows where they stand when they're with him.
And I must say, it did sound as if, when it came to the speeches during the banquet, that Donald Trump was slightly departing from the script, wasn't he? He was adding in a few extra adjectives, a few epithets, a bit more kind of a few more sort of effusive manifestations of really how much he was having an absolutely belting time.
And a few extra letters. Remember when he made the quip about the king knowing every single one of the guards? And he said even A, B, C, D, H, G, Z, he knew who he was.
He was very humble as well, wasn't he, Trump? He was, you know, this was one of the highlights highlights in his calendar, which, as the President of the United States, that's quite a thing to say, isn't it?
I must admit, I often look at the way the royals do things with their protocols and all of their conventions, and I find it so stiff and uptight, and I think, oh, what a load of old nonsense. And yet then someone like Trump comes along and he starts not observing them, and I get a bit like patriotic. I'm like, how dare he
Walk
not
in front
observe
of the
the
king.
strict protocols?
But this time he's been on his absolute best
He
behaviour.
has actually,
don't you think? Best behaviour. So, I mean, I wonder whether people watching are kind of laughing along with us, or whether people are just appalled by the whole thing and think there's been hypocrisy, Yvette Cooper greeting him effusively and she's criticised him so vehemently, lots of people having to sort of backtrack because they're in a kind of public role, they're not just their private selves, so they've got to kind of behave in a certain way. I don't know whether people think this is absolutely terrific or whether they think it's absolutely ghastly to behold. Well, we'll find out.
It's the greater good, though, isn't it? Even though you might have those thoughts, you've got to do what's right.
Pragmatic.
Yeah.
You have to be pragmatic.
All right, let's go to Tony in Brighton. Hi, Tony. What do you feel about this state visit?
Not very positive. We don't get much choice on where our taxpayers go.
True, but you know where this has gone. We think it's a minimum of 5 million. It might be as much as 10 million. But is it money well spent? Is it worth it, do you think?
Well, no, that money could have been used to make the road safe for the NHS that need it more.
Well, that's true with anything that you spend on anything. Any expenditure at all could always have been spent on something else, no question about that. The question is what we get in return worth our outlay, do you think?
No, not for 4 to 5 million, no. Not of taxpayers' money when we can't even take care of our own country.
But this is a way of taking care of our own country, isn't it?
Not really, no. It's just a big show for somebody else.
Well, this is getting the President of the United States, we hope, and a whole lot of investors on side. I mean, that's the point of it.
But we shouldn't have to pay them to shake their hands and to make a reputation with them.
I mean, it's not that we have to. I suppose it's that we have this weapon or this wonderful asset or this kind of ability. And obviously, I'm not taking any credit for it. It's not me that organises it. But as Claire says, unparalleled skill at these wonderful events. And he likes them. So we can give that. You don't think that's a good kind of bargain?
No, considering we're in a hell of a lot of debt anyway. We're wasting money.
Tony, thank you so much. Very, very interesting call to kick off with. Let's talk to Hilda in West Yorkshire. Hello, Hilda. Thanks for ringing. What do you feel about this?
I think it's appalling that we'll spend that money. It's my money, your money, my children's money. It's their tax that's paying for it. Mm-hmm. And it should be the royal purse that should pay for it. He came to see the king, not us.
Oh, I see. You think the King, His Majesty, should pay for it with his own money, do you?
What are the trillions he's got? Yes, I do.
But you don't feel as if this is his most public role and he's doing it effectively for us. It's his job that he does on behalf of you, Hilda, and me and Terry and everybody else.
I don't give a hoot who he's doing it for.
Ah.
We've got people here sleeping on the street. I want my money to go to them.
Right. Okay. I mean, fair enough. What would you say, Claire, in response to that?
Well, Hilda, I mean, I get your point, but would you say that you support king and country? Do you like the idea of a monarchy or not?
I don't like the king. I like the queen. Loved her.
Yeah, I think we all did. I think we're all in agreement with that. And did you like the fact that Trump took a wreath and placed it at the late Queen's grave?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty respectful too.
I get you. It was great. When I saw Trump walk in front of the king, I laughed.
That's what you were
saying. I don't
saying,
like
Sam.
him.
All right, Hilda, thank you very much indeed. OK, so we're getting quite a negative response so far. We'll see what other people have to say. How do you feel about it, John? Do you similarly feel it was a waste of money? We shouldn't be spending our money on this?
Hello.
Hello, John in North Yorkshire. What do you think?
I'm looking for my name coming on the TV screen. I back Hilda all the way, but I'd go a lot further than that. I think it's an absolute disgrace. He's crippling the world economy with the tariffs and what he represents. Most of the world does not support Trump. We do, but the world doesn't. Countries like Cambodia and Vietnam are really suffering now the consequences because of the tariffs. He changed the tariffs just to make profit himself. He buys, then he sells. It's crippling the world economy, and for what he stands for, I just don't even agree with the principle. Regarding the monarchy, crikey, the king is the richest person now in Europe. I'll argue that one as well, far richer than the Queen ever was. I really think that the monarchy should continue, but not taken from the taxpayer's purse. We've got a cost of living crisis. Age concern, we read that 3,500 people last year died in the cold with the heating allowance being taken away. When we've got that sort of thing happening, the money's spent on the wrong thing. But it's what Trump represents that really, really upsets me. He's destroying the world economy. And as soon as he leaves his power, the better. I think it's a shame we lost Obama. I really do. And I think it's very disrespectful having this pomp and circumstance for what he actually represents.
And you think disrespectful to whom? Because you can't disrespect the world economy. Who do you think is being disrespectful?
It's disrespectful to the world economy. He is crippling, in my opinion, this is. He's crippling the world economy.
Yeah. I mean, you've said that several times. When you can't disrespect an economy, can you? An economy doesn't have feelings or thoughts and won't be either respected or disrespected. So
what he represents.
What he represents, and basically his fiscal judgment you think is wrong, and that's the thing you most disapprove of.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, I mean, obviously there are many aspects of Donald Trump's behaviour that are, highly questionable. I think most people will agree. Some people probably won't. But, there are many things to object to, aren't there, in things that he's done in his record of behaviour. However, his position, you might think, just denotes a kind of response that ought to be as favourable to him as we could possibly manufacture.
Whether we like it or not, he's got the purse strings, and that is an awful big investment to our country. So I do agree with what John said with regards to Trump. I think a lot of us do here, but this is just one area that we can try and help this economic crisis. Of course the NHS is broken, of course the other things are, but I do think this will create jobs and create investment money.
Let's go to David in London. How do you feel about it, David? Because we have a stream of negative calls. Did you feel as negative?
No, I feel that if you had 5 or 10 billion and were to invest million and were to invest it, and they give you 150 billion in return, I think that's a fantastic result.
Right. And do you think it's as linear as that? We invite him, we get the investment, that's it. Is it as simple as that?
I think it is, yeah. But we may not get the investment if we didn't look after Trump so well.
And so do you think the king is really, as they say, coming up trumps? I mean, he's certainly, going for it in terms of the special relationship, in terms of the longevity, in terms of the unique nature of our bond and all that kind of a thing. Do you think he's done us proud, His Majesty?
Yeah, I think they really have done us proud. We do ceremony really excellently in this country. And I think to appease Trump, I think we need America. And I think to appease Trump and to flatter him is a good thing.
David, thank you very much indeed. I mean, when people say, gosh, you could have spent it on the homeless, you could have spent it on incubators for premature babies, it's true, isn't it? It is true. And then you think of that, all the lavish, kind of those beautiful flower arrangements, incredible food, that champagne, and you think, oh.
That's how I feel when I watch a royal wedding. Right, I think this is absurd. Like, this is just an ego trip, and we should be putting this money into helping the most vulnerable and needy in society. Because what are we getting back in return for that? It's just entertainment.
Well, they would say they would get tourism back. They would get the ability for global. But that's the argument, Sam.
That's the argument, and I've heard that argument, throughout my lifetime. But you don't really know because France makes much more money out of tourism than we do, and they haven't had a royal family for many years, but they still have visitors who want to go and see the palaces that the royal family wants. So it's actually history that attracts tourism. In this case, though, I think, okay, for once, we're getting value for money. You might take someone out for lunch and spend a couple of £100 in return for £1 million investment in a movie thing. It's the same here.
Clearly,
we're going to get 100 million. The country is broke and we don't have many options left.